to work. Thursday, October 7th, 8:20 p.m. Los Angeles Rams 3-1, 1-0 on the road at the Seattle Seahawks, 2-2, 0-1 at home. We're at Lumen Field in Seattle, Washington. Thank you guys all so much for joining us here on Pub Sports Radio. Let's start with the market move and then move right over to where the cash lies in this spot. Again, I've made no bets so far. The Rams open up as a pick'em. Now they're 2.5-point favorites right across the board. They certainly seem like the spot here with the injuries the Seahawks are dealing with. This total opened up at 53.5. It's now at 54.5. Let's go to the cash flow. We have 7,590 tickets in. On the spread, 81% of the tickets on the Rams, 89% of the cash on the Rams. So all Rams, market moving in their direction. Then we have 63% of the tickets, 56% of the cash on the over. Dennis Garcia says, Seattle is a teaser leg. 1 week after a statement victory over defending Super Bowl champion Tampa Bay on the same field, the Rams did not look good in an ugly 37-20 loss at home versus Arizona. Stafford 26 of 41 for 290 yards, 2 touchdowns, 1 interception. Jesus, 290 yards. And Bebsie had the over 292.5. It's just been that kind of season, Bebsie. I know that you're going to start rolling. I'm certain of it. Missing that by 2.5 yards is rough. 2020 second-round pick Van Jefferson, 6 catches for 90 yards, 1 touchdown. Cooper Kupp didn't look as dominant as he has been. 5 catches for 64 yards. Darrell Henderson returned from injury to run 14 times for 89 yards. Sony Michel did not look good. 3 carries, 11 yards, and lost a fumble. Rams allowed 465 total yards by the Cardinals. Last year's number 1 defense has now given up 911 yards, 61 points the last 2 weeks. Aaron Donald did not get a sack or a hit on the quarterback. The Rams managed just 3 sacks, had just 2 quarterback hits. This is a healthy group with no excuses. Seahawks come in off a 28-21 win at San Francisco. Seahawks went 3 and out on their first 5 drives of the game, but stayed the course, got the W. They were outgained 457 to 234, had just 14 first downs compared to the Niners' 23, but turnovers were used to their advantage. Russell Wilson, 16 of 23 for 149 yards, 2 touchdowns, no picks. DK Metcalf led receivers with 4 catches for 65 yards. Rashad Penny moved to the injured reserve before the game, so Alex Collins led the running backs with 10 carries for 44 yards and a touchdown, caught 2 passes for 34 yards. Chris Carson did not look good. Stymied on the ground, carried the ball for just 30 yards. Bobby Wagner, another strong game with 10 tackles. The Seahawks managed 2 sacks, 6 quarterback hits. Quandre Diggs had an interception. Linebacker Cody Barton left the game in the first half. His injury status is unclear, but the pass rush is expected to be an issue this week. Defensive end Carlos Dunlap sprained his toe, listed as questionable. Defensive end Darrell Taylor tweaked his ankle and is listed as questionable. Defensive end Benson Mayowa is also listed as questionable. Cornerback Trey Brown designated to return off the IR. Tight end Gerald Everett may be activated from the reserve COVID list before Thursday's game. He did return a negative test on Monday. DK Metcalf has not practiced this week due to a foot injury. He's expected to play. D. Eskridge listed as questionable. Offensive tackle Brandon Shell also listed as questionable. A lot of injuries for the Seahawks. I know that you shy away from Thursday night action. I got killed last Thursday night. Any look for you here, Bebsie? Take it away, Rams Seahawks.
Well, as per usual, I will not be playing Wednesday. Or Thursday. It's my form of protest against Thursday night football. Fucking hate it. But this to me is Rams or you're crazy. And I know I talked to Pavone earlier. He loves Seattle this week. I don't see it. I simply don't. They got outplayed by a Niners team and they still lost. Or they still won, rather. But, the Niners left a lot of points on the board special teams-wise. They had Robbie Gould go down in the warm-ups. So they had no kicker. They had their punter kicking. They had a missed field goal. They had a missed extra point. They had other opportunities where they wouldn't kick because they didn't have a kicker. And also they had their return man, Trenton Cannon, fumble the ball at his own 10-yard line, which, of course, is never good. So I don't – Seattle's win last week was a bit of an anomaly. The Rams losing, yeah, they didn't play well. The other thing, too, you mentioned Aaron Donald, no sacks. And, okay, you're facing, you're facing Kyler Murray, who's a tough guy to track down. But still, the NFL, there was a complaint that there were too many holding calls, and it was slowing down the game. So the NFL is like, well, we can't call as much holding. But now they're just letting egregious shit go, and it's ugly the other way. It's like, why can't they get it right? Why is it one extreme or the other? Why don't they just call less holding, but still call the brutal shit? I obviously don't like the Rams. I'm a Niners fan, but I feel bad for Aaron Donald. He is getting mugged out there. He's getting people just draped over him, and there's got to be a correction. There has to be some kind of correction where the NFL's like, okay, we're going to call some holding. We're just not calling it on every goddamn play. I think that's part of the reason why he's off to a slow start. And also, Jimmy, number one defense last year, but they lost a lot of depth pieces, which I talked about in the offseason. Everyone was so big on this Rams team, and I said, look, the defense has lost a lot of you can't have so much money in Ramsey and Donald and still have stars at every other position. So I think that has a lot to do with the way they're playing right now. But look, bad, ugly loss this week. They come back and smash Seattle on Thursday. I understand it's on the road. They're playing in Seattle, which is one of the toughest places to play in. I have not been impressed by Seattle at all this year.
I'm surprised that Pavone wants the Seahawks when he is a very good reader of the market, and there is not one tiny ounce of a signal that the Seahawks are the right player. The Sharks are on the Seahawks. The issue that I felt today when I went over the issues with the Seahawks pass rush was, do I want to take -2.5 when everybody else got to pick them around -1? That was my only issue. I think the Rams bounce back here, and it's shock and awe that he's this, bullish on the Seahawks. Let's talk a little more about the Seahawks 49ers game before I decide what to do. Were you impressed with the Seahawks staying the course, or was it the 49ers giving the game away?
Honestly, the 49ers gave the game away. Like, that first half, the 49ers should have gone into the locker room with a 21-point lead. They absolutely dominated it and then shot themselves in the foot, like they often do. And that's discipline, which, it does fall on the head coach. There's a lot of people on Niners Twitter that want Shanahan fired, which is ridiculous. But yeah, they've got to play more disciplined football. They shot themselves in the foot. And the Seahawks should not have gone into the half tied, within a couple scores, let alone tied. They went in at 7-7 into the half. And I mean, look at the numbers. The Niners absolutely dominated them. 5 straight 3-and-outs to start the game. That Niners defense, they're fantastic. Even with their 4th string corner, I think that's who they had Dre Kirkpatrick playing, who came off the street. So, look, they've got a very good defense. Their offense needs to get their shit together. But yeah, the Niners left a lot of meat on the bone, and then the Seahawks just capitalized. And that's what a Russell Wilson-led team is going to do. You can't let him hang around. Yeah,
you're absolutely right. He stays the course. He loves adversity. Gerald Jones says fade. Says love the Rams here. Dennis Garcia says, yeah, 49ers shot themselves in the foot. A couple looks from our Dutch boy, Fresh. First off, he's looking at Stafford over 305.5 passing yards. Says average right at this number on the season. Hawks defense allows 310 yards passing per game. I think it's a competitive game, a lot of points. Stafford will show out. Viper NB, thank you for the kind words. Birdie says, I bet the Rams +1 and -1. That's it for me. I mean, we're below that number of 2.5, but Dutch Boy Fresh says that he likes the Rams off of a loss, but this line is disrespectful. Do you think this line is disrespectful to the Seattle Seahawks?
I wouldn't say it's disrespectful. I mean, this is a team that should be 1-3 right now. They're 2-2, and they're lucky to be 2-2. So I don't think it's disrespectful. It's a field goal on the road, and we're talking about a Super Bowl favorite right now versus a fringe playoff team.
JT says McVay 8-2 against the spread on the road after a loss. Average wins are by 10 points. So is your disgust for Thursday night football going to keep you off taking the Rams at this point?
Jimmy, I know when a lot of people are struggling, when they got a bad string of luck going, they tend to break some of their own rules. I'm not going to do it. I'm not going to break my own rule. I am going to stay off Thursday night football in my unnoticed form of protest.
Do we disregard the home team or no team look because we expect the Rams to bounce back? Brady says I'm taking Rams in the contest this week. Feels like the Rams -2.5 for the play. I can't see a reason at this point not to bet them. I can't see a reason. I expect them to bounce back here.
I understand the home team or no team in theory because more often than not, but that's ludicrous. That means it can, like, if you live your life that way, it means it'll never happen. Like, this team's beat this team 7 times in a row. Well, shit gets broken. Streaks get broken. Same thing here. There's one team is just simply better than the other. One is coming off a fluky win. One is coming off a loss where I get Arizona's the only 4-0 team, and I still do not believe in Arizona.
They did allow 465. I like the idea of them questioning themselves moving here on the road. Caveman Bet says all away teams have covered the spread on Thursday football this year. That's a great point, Caveman Bets. I don't see how I don't move on the Rams -2.5. Adam Galbraith says Rams is a public play. 80% of the money will be on them. It's much more than that right now. 81% of the tickets are on them, but 89% of the cash are on them. It's a very public play. I was on a very public play last Thursday, but there's a big difference between the two public plays. One, the Bengals were, fat and happy off that win in Pittsburgh, where these Rams are questioning everything that they've done. Everything. And if Seattle was coming in healthy, it'd be different. But this pass rush is hurting. And for me to think that, okay, we talked about one of the issues with this team is how important Carlos Dunlap is to that front seven. And now he's coming in with a sprained toe. I just
Kerry Hyder's not 100% either.
Let's just do a quick weather check. I know how much it bothers Bebsie, and with 16 games on the schedule, it was hard to get to all the weather. But no, it's going to be a nice night.
The other thing too is like I understand fading the public. I get it, especially because we know all matches are fixed, and the sharps tend to know which way they're being fixed to. But the public was heavy on the Chargers last night, and the Chargers rolled. So you can't always fade the public. Sometimes the public's just right.
Yes, absolutely. All right, I don't see how I don't move on the Rams -2.5. I shouldn't let what happened to me last Thursday get in the way. I think I should just move on them. A nice night, a beautiful night Thursday in Seattle. Rams -2.5. Let's move on to Sunday action.